True crime stories often highlight the thin line between ordinary lives and unthinkable tragedy, but few cases illustrate this as starkly as the story of Tiffany Hall. Her name became synonymous with betrayal and brutality in 2006 when her actions shocked the nation. What began as a tale of friendship and shared history ended in a horrifying series of crimes that claimed 5 innocent lives. This story is not just about the crimes themselves, but about the underlying complexities of trust, desperation, and a community blindsided by tragedy. To truly understand what unfolded in East St. Louis, Illinois, one must delve into the lives of those involved, the motivations behind the actions, and the aftermath that left a community forever scarred. Tiffany Hall grew up in East St. Louis, a community where neighbors often became extended family. Known for her friendly personality and approachable nature, Tiffany was someone many people felt comfortable around. However, beneath her seemingly ordinary exterior lay a deeply troubled individual grappling with personal insecurities and a tumultuous relationship. Her lifelong friend, Jamela Tunstall, was a 23-year-old mother of 3 at the time of the tragedy. Jamela was described by friends and family as a devoted mother with an unshakable bond with her children. Despite the challenges of raising a family at a young age, she exuded warmth and resilience, qualities that made her a beloved figure in her community. The friendship between Tiffany and Jamela was forged in their childhood. They were inseparable for years, often described as sisters in spirit. Their families shared connections, and their lives intertwined in a way that few friendships do. This closeness made Tiffany a trusted presence in Jamela's life, someone she could rely on, a trust that would ultimately be her undoing. Tiffany's personal life, however, was far from stable. She was in a relationship that was marred by difficulties, including her partner's doubts about their future together. To maintain her hold on the relationship, Tiffany fabricated a pregnancy, a lie that would demand increasingly desperate measures to sustain. By September 2006, Tiffany's fabricated pregnancy was unraveling. As her supposed due date approached, pressure mounted for her to produce evidence of the child she had claimed to be carrying. Her partner's skepticism grew, and Tiffany found herself backed into a corner. It was in this moment of desperation that she devised a plan so horrific it would forever stain her name. Jamela Tunstall was then 8 months pregnant with her 4th child. She was glowing with anticipation, eager to welcome her newest family member. Tiffany, who had always been a constant presence in her life, seemed genuinely supportive. In truth, Tiffany's envy and desperation had taken a dark turn. On September 15, 2006, Tiffany invited Jamela to her home under the pretext of spending time together. Jamela, trusting her friend implicitly, agreed. What awaited her was a calculated act of betrayal. Inside Tiffany's home, the atmosphere quickly shifted from friendly to sinister. In a premeditated attack, Tiffany struck Jamela with a blunt object, knocking her unconscious. She then attempted to perform a cesarean section on her friend using a pair of scissors. The procedure was crude and violent, leading to Jamela's death. The unborn baby, whom Tiffany intended to present as her own, did not survive the ordeal. With Jamela dead and the baby's body in her possession, Tiffany fabricated a story to explain the infant's death to her boyfriend. She claimed that the baby had been born prematurely and had tragically passed away shortly after birth. To bolster her deception, Tiffany staged a heart-wrenching scene, presenting the deceased baby to her partner as though it were their child. But the existence of Jamela's 3 young children posed a significant problem for Tiffany. The children's 7-year-old Demond, 2-year-old Ivan, and 1-year-old Jin Tyria knew their mother's whereabouts before her disappearance and could potentially expose Tiffany's crime. 3 days after killing Jamela, Tiffany carried out the next phase of her horrifying plan. She lured the children to a nearby park, promising them a fun outing. There, in an act of unimaginable cruelty, she drowned each child in a creek. Afterward, she placed their lifeless bodies in the trunk of her car, hiding the evidence of her crimes. Jamela's sudden disappearance, coupled with the absence of her children, raised immediate concerns among her family. Her mother, sister, and other relatives knew she would never abandon her children willingly. As the days passed without any contact, their worry turned to dread. Tiffany, meanwhile, attempted to maintain a facade of normalcy. She attended church, interacted with neighbors, and even participated in a memorial service held for Jamila and her children. Her behavior was chillingly composed, a stark contrast to the grief-stricken community around her. As the investigation into the disappearances intensified, suspicion began to circle Tiffany. Her fabricated pregnancy and erratic behavior raised red flags among those who knew her. Ultimately, it was Tiffany herself who provided the key to unraveling the mystery. On September 20th, 2006, Tiffany walked into her church and confessed her crimes to the pastor. She detailed her actions, revealing the full extent of her betrayal and brutality. The pastor, horrified by her confession, immediately contacted the authorities. Police quickly apprehended Tiffany and began piecing together the sequence of events. Forensic evidence corroborated her confession. Jamila's body was discovered in Tiffany's home, and the remains of her 3 children were found in the trunk of Tiffany's car. The sheer brutality of the crimes shocked even seasoned investigators. Tiffany's trial was a grim spectacle, drawing widespread media attention. The prosecution presented a damning case, highlighting the premeditation and calculated nature of her actions. They painted a portrait of a woman consumed by desperation and willing to destroy lives to sustain her lies. The defense, meanwhile, sought to humanize Tiffany, arguing that her mental state and personal circumstances had driven her to commit the crimes. They pointed to her unstable relationship, her history of emotional distress, and the societal pressures she faced as contributing factors. Ultimately, the jury was unconvinced by the defense's arguments. Tiffany Hall was found guilty of 5 counts of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, a punishment that reflected the severity of her crimes and the profound loss she had inflicted. The impact of Tiffany Hall's actions continues to reverberate through the community of East St. Louis. For the families of Jamila Tunstall and her children, the pain of their loss is immeasurable. They must grapple not only with the absence of their loved ones but also with the betrayal of someone they once considered family. The case also sparked broader discussions about mental health, domestic pressures, and the importance of recognizing warning signs in those around us. It serves as a stark reminder of the need for vigilance and compassion in addressing issues of desperation and deceit before they escalate into tragedy. One of the most haunting aspects of this case is the relationship between Tiffany Hall and Jamila Tunstall. Their friendship was not superficial, it was deeply rooted in years of shared experiences, mutual trust, and familial closeness. In many ways, Jamila viewed Tiffany not just as a friend but as an extended part of her family. This trust was so strong that Jamila never suspected that her confidante could harbor ill intentions. The betrayal of such an intimate relationship adds another layer of tragedy to this case. It serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of human relationships and the hidden struggles people may face. Tiffany's actions were not the impulsive outburst of a stranger, but the calculated betrayal of someone who had been welcomed into Jamila's inner circle. How does such a betrayal come to pass? It's a question that continues to trouble those who have studied this case. Was Tiffany's descent into violence a gradual unraveling caused by external pressures, or did darker tendencies lurk beneath her friendly exterior all along? While psychologists and criminologists may offer theories, the truth remains elusive. In the aftermath of these tragic events, the community of East St. Louis was left grappling with profound grief and anger. How could someone who seemed so ordinary, so integrated into the fabric of their lives, commit such heinous acts? For many, the realization was deeply unsettling. Community leaders and local organizations rallied together to support Jamila's remaining family members. Vigils were held, not only to honor the victims but to provide a space for collective mourning. These gatherings also served as a call to action, emphasizing the importance of addressing mental health and offering support to individuals who might be struggling in silence. Tiffany Hall's case also raised questions about the warning signs that might have been overlooked. Neighbors and friends who interacted with Tiffany in the weeks leading up to the murders noted her unusual behavior, but few suspected the depths of her desperation. This has led to discussions about the importance of speaking up and intervening when someone exhibits troubling signs, even if their struggles are not immediately apparent. Understanding Tiffany Hall's actions requires delving into the psychological factors that may have driven her. Experts who analyzed her case pointed to a combination of factors, including her relationship insecurities, societal pressures, and potential underlying mental health issues. The fabricated pregnancy, for example, highlights the intense pressure Tiffany felt to conform to societal expectations of womanhood and motherhood. Her fear of losing her partner drove her to construct an elaborate lie that spiraled into a deadly reality. This is a phenomenon known in psychology as a folie à deux, where delusions or extreme behaviors are reinforced by the dynamics of a close relationship. Moreover, Tiffany's ability to maintain a facade of normalcy after committing such heinous acts points to a potential dissociative state or a lack of empathy. This detachment from the emotional weight of her actions is a hallmark of certain personality disorders, though it remains unclear whether Tiffany was formally diagnosed with any condition. Amid the focus on Tiffany's actions, it is vital to center the narrative on the lives lost. Jamela Tunstall was more than a victim. She was a loving mother, a sister, a daughter, and a friend. Her children Demond, Even, and Jin Tyria were full of potential, their lives tragically cut short before they could fully blossom. Jamela's family has worked tirelessly to ensure that her memory and the memories of her children are honored. They have spoken out about the need for greater awareness and support for young mothers, highlighting the importance of community in preventing future tragedies. Even years after the case, its echoes continue to resonate. For the people of East St. Louis, the wounds are still raw. The loss of Jamela and her children serves as a painful reminder of how quickly lives can be shattered. Tiffany Hall's name remains a symbol of betrayal, but it also serves as a cautionary tale. Her story is a reminder that unchecked desperation and untreated mental health struggles can lead to devastating consequences. It is a call to action for communities everywhere to be vigilant, supportive, and proactive in addressing the challenges their members face. The case of Tiffany Hall underscores the importance of early intervention, recognizing signs of emotional distress, providing access to mental health resources, and fostering open communication within communities can make a significant difference. It also highlights the need for stronger social support systems, particularly in underserved areas. Ensuring that individuals have access to counseling, financial assistance, and community networks can help prevent the kind of isolation that leads to desperate actions. As we reflect on this tragedy, the question arises: what can we do to prevent such events in the future? The answer lies in a combination of personal responsibility, community involvement, and systemic change. On a personal level, we must strive to be more attuned to the struggles of those around us. Checking in on friends, offering support, and being willing to ask difficult questions can make a difference. At a community level, fostering a culture of openness and acceptance is crucial. Stigma around mental health must be dismantled, and individuals must feel safe seeking help without fear of judgment. Systemically, policymakers must prioritize funding for mental health services, particularly in economically disadvantaged areas. Schools, workplaces, and healthcare providers should be equipped to identify and address signs of emotional distress early on. The story of Tiffany Hall is one of heartbreak and loss, but it is also a story of resilience. In the wake of tragedy, the community of East St. Louis has come together to mourn, to heal, and to learn. While the pain of Jamela Tunstall's loss and the loss of her children will never fade, their memories serve as a beacon, a reminder of the lives that were and the lives that could have been. It is through their remembrance that we find the strength to move forward, to build stronger communities, and to ensure that such a tragedy never happens again.